am extremely honored to introduce Dr. Albert Bourla, the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of Pfizer, Inc., and the child of Holocaust survivors, and express our deepest gratitude to him for telling his family's story, sharing the impact it has had on his life, and reminding us all of the necessity of standing up and speaking out against anti-Semitism and hatred of any kind.
Hello, everyone. I am Albert Bourla. As the son of Holocaust survivors, I'm honored and humbled to participate in this year's March of the Living, Yom Hashoah observance. And as someone who leads a company whose purpose is breakthroughs that change patients' lives, I'm thrilled that this year's event is dedicated to the heroes who provided medical care in the ghettos and camps during World War II, as well as those who provide medical care around the world today. I was born and raised in Thessaloniki, Greece. Before Hitler began his march through Europe, there was a thriving Sephardic Jewish community in Thessaloniki. So much so that it was known as La Madre d'Israël, or the Mother of Israel. Within a week of the occupation, however, the Germans had arrested the Jewish leadership, evicted hundreds of Jewish families, and confiscated their apartments. And it took less than 3 years to accomplish their goal of exterminating the community. When the Germans invaded Greece, there were approximately 50,000 Jews living in the city. By the end of the war, only 2,000 had survived. Lucky for me, both of my parents, Mois and Sarah Bourla, were among the 2,000. My father was successful in surviving by hiding his identity. My then teenage mother was arrested by Nazis, abused in jail, and lined up against a wall in front of a firing squad. She was removed from the line of death at the last moment, thanks to hefty bribes that a Christian relative paid to Max Merten, a Nazi war criminal. Many Holocaust survivors never spoke to their children of the horrors they endured because it was too painful. But my parents talked about it a great deal. They did this because they wanted us to remember all the lives that were lost, to remember what can happen when the virus of evil is allowed to spread unchecked. But most important, to remember the value of a human life. You see, when my parents spoke of the Holocaust, they never spoke of anger or revenge. They didn't teach us to hate those who did this to our family and friends. Instead, they spoke of how lucky they were to be alive and how we all needed to build on that feeling, celebrate life, and move forward. Hatred would only stand in the way. My parents' story has had a great impact on my life and my view of the world. But I hadn't really spoken about it publicly until recently. And I'm so glad that I did. Because if sharing their story inspires just one more person to join us in proclaiming that never means never, when we stand up against anti-Semitism and all forms of racism, then it will help make our world a better place. Thank you again for the invitation to join you today, and thank you for remembering. Stay safe and stay well.